everyone, welcome to the fourth video on significant digits. We are going to go over the rules for reporting numbers for addition and subtraction. This is the most subtle rule because we have been talking in the last videos all about significant digits, and this rule is a little bit subtle and confusing because we're actually not looking at the significant digits at all like you might think. So this one's often forgotten and may be a video that you may need to come back to just to refresh your memory throughout the semester. When you add and subtract, you actually don't look at the significant digits, you look at the decimal place. Okay, and so if you look at this number here on the screen, or these two numbers, okay, you have 10.11 and 3.6. Okay, so you have a number out to the 100th place. Okay, so 2 decimal places. And then you have a number out to the 10th place. So when you subtract, or if you add, you are going to have to report your answer to the fewest decimal places. Okay, so that would be 1 in this problem. Okay, so instead of reporting it as 6.51, okay, you would report your answer as 6.5. Okay, kilograms is our unit here. Okay, so you look at the decimal place, not the number of significant digits. Sometimes those will match up, so your fewest sig figs would also be the correct way to report your answer, but that's not the rule and the tool that you need to use. Okay, so you want to look at the decimal place, how far it goes out, and then the fewest decimal places is going to be how you report your answer. Alright, so here's some practice problems. We're going to do these top two here first. Okay, and we have 3 numbers here. This one's addition instead of subtraction. So if I look at my screen here, every time I start this it wants to, there we go. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have 4 decimal places here. Here I have 3 decimal places out to the 1000th place, and here I have 2 decimal places. So the fewest of the decimal places would be 2, so I'm going to have to round my number to where it has 2 decimal places, so that would be to the 100th place. So if you put this in the calculator, you're going to get a larger number. Okay, and then you're going to go look, okay, I need to go out to the 100th place. So there's my 4. I have a 6 next door, so that's going to raise the 4 to a 5. Okay, and because we already have a decimal place, we can drop those other numbers past the 4, okay, or drop the 4, okay, and change it to a 5. Okay, and our answer is to 2 decimal places. Alright, here we have 4 decimal places. We have 3. That's what we would get in our calculator. So we have to report our answer to 3 decimal places. And so we would round off. We would look at the 0, and a 7 is beside it, so that rounds the 0 up to a 1. And so our final answer is 3 decimal places. So students will think sig figs because that's what we've been talking so much about, and that doesn't always match up. Okay, so you're you can look at your final answer, so we could say, okay, our final answer has 3 sig figs and this one has 4. Okay, but the way you got to that number is by looking at the decimal place, not by looking at sig figs. Alright, so now we're going to use both rules that we've learned in these past two videos. Okay, and so here we have subtraction, here we have multiplication, and then we're going to divide the 2 numbers. Alright, so if you put 23.24 minus 6.2 in your calculator, okay, you're going to have to round. So if you look here, we have, when you subtract, you have to look at the decimals. So we have 2 decimals and we only have 1. So you can do this with me, but in your calculator, you're going to get 17.0. Okay, you're going to have 3 sig figs, technically. okay, because you have to go out to the 10th place because this number here went to the 10th place. Okay, so that's our decimal rules. Okay, then we'll put a division there. Okay, and then we multiply. So our rules for multiplication and division are different. We look at the sig figs. So I have 4 sig figs and I have 3 sig figs. So when I multiply those two, I'm going to round to 3 sig figs. Okay, so in this problem we use 2 different rules. We use the decimal rule for subtraction, and then we use the sig fig rule for multiplication. And now we're going to divide. And division has the same rule as multiplication. And both of these numbers happen to have 3 sig figs. Remember, this 0 here is significant because it's behind the decimal place. Okay, and so my answer is going to be reported to 3 sig figs. So 0.487. Alright, this concludes the videos on sig figs, and I will see you soon. Thanks.